Welcome back to the Melodic Caring Project. Today we connected with our good friend Amos Lee and fell into a conversation before the interview even started. Amos had some amazing things to say about quarantine and about our rock stars. It's a good thing the cameras were rolling.
Maya's a really special girl, and she's beaten cancer. She is in remission now. This is a message to all the kids whose names are on my list tonight. You're going to beat it too, and you're going to be okay.
What a wild experience.
Yeah, what's ironic about all of this is that, and I was talking to the fella from American Songwriter about this last night, which is like, so many of the rock stars are dealing with this for much longer than this.
Yep.
And harder, and not in their homes.
Right.
So I think about them, and I'm like, okay, you guys, this is okay. Like, we're doing this so that we can protect the people who need it.
Right.
And we're doing it so that we can protect ourselves and our families, but also for folks who might have a little bit of a harder time if they get it.
It's for sure a very real perspective check.
The harder part is seeing the people I love go through it, and also losing people that I've loved over the last month and a half, and not knowing what the future holds. Those things are the hard parts. The being alone is no problem for me. And again, it's also like, I think about and working through this program with you, and with everybody in this picture, and with all the rock stars, and I think about them.
Yeah.
And it really gives you an entirely different perspective on what quarantine is.
Yeah.
That's quarantine. This is just like, like they said, it's like the Goodfellas in the movie Goodfellas, where they're in jail, but they can make pasta and they have fish delivered and stuff like that, It's not that bad. It's fine.
No, it's true. Again, perspective, right? I mean, they are the rock stars of quarantine. I mean, they've taught us so much about really what matters and what's most important. And they're not just quarantine, they're dealing with, their own mortality. I mean, it's, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's heavy stuff. So when I hear people like complaining about being bored, or saying I'm getting stir crazy, I'm like, I have compassion for that, and I understand, but also, like, you don't even know.
Right.
Like, you have no idea. So, let's just take a step back and say, why are we doing this? Is it helping? And what ways can I sustain myself through this so that I come out on the other side of it with a better perspective on life? And if you're willing to do all of those things, I think this is an okay time. Like, there are still lots of people who are working, first responders and doctors and nurses and supermarket employees and drivers and janitors and house cleaners, and so many people that are out there every day, like, kind of risking themselves, not kind of, but directly risking themselves to make a living, and also to do their duty. So in another way, I'm like, I'm so grateful for them, and I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to quarantine myself. Like, this feels like, I'm lucky. I feel lucky. I feel lucky to do this during a pandemic. I can't even imagine in other parts of the world where you don't have the chance to do this. Like, you can't be in your house with food and be away from people.
Just even in the United States, we're lucky among a privileged society, that we have been for the last couple months here and working in our office that's detached from our own house, and still continuing to do the work that we're passionate about and that we love, but we're safe. We're separated, we're in quarantine, and we're not worried about putting food on the table and all those things. That's an incredible privilege.
Yeah, it is, really. And, there are places in the United States where people don't have that. Like, like Maya's dad, Pete, is a bus driver.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's driving people every day who have to take the bus somewhere, to Target or to the food store, and like just to do it's just amazing to me, the resilience that people have to just be like I'm doing it. Like I remember being a kid with my mom, and she was like, we got on the bus every day. We got on the bus every day. If it was 10 degrees below zero, we got on the bus. And we forget how special just everyday heroes are. Just everyday heroes for living the lives that they live, because they're up against so much and they still do it. And that's sort of like the point of this conversation, which is like, we have these rock stars that you and everyone in, you know, in your family and their families support, but those kids are doing the work that so many people like, just, it's heroic. I honestly think that the way that so many of those kids approach their lives is heroic.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's like tough. I think it's heroic.
Yeah.
And I would say that to them. I would say, I think you're heroes, because we get to watch you and know what that thing that is at the core of all of us is in a moment of vulnerability.
Man, I love you. Thank you. It's funny because I don't think the interview has even started, but I think it's already almost over. You just, I mean,
Yeah.
that's so good. You know, I mean, those are exactly the messages that we realized quite a while ago with Melodic, that this is, it's actually almost transition where this is less about, I mean, we want to send love and support and encouragement and all of these things to these families that are going through so much. And like you say, they are handling it so courageously and graciously and being examples of how we can all live our lives better, how we can all conduct ourselves better and treat others better. But at the same time, we've realized that, man, there's a whole element to Melodic that's not about bringing something positive to them. It's about that they are so positive. They are the lights, right? I mean, that is where Little Light came from. And it's now actually about Melodic being a platform to share their stories, because their examples
definitely.
is something that we all need. Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's been my experience. I'm happy to sing songs and I'm happy to be there, but they're, you know, it's not just the name. Like, they are the rock stars in these situations. I mean, just dealing, you know, seeing Lily and Maya and all these kids over the last few years, and it's like, I see what they go through, and I also see how positive they are and how resilient they are. And yeah, they get down, but then they don't. You know, and it's, you know, it's partially the spirit of a child that has this innate love in them that's sort of gets lost when you get older, but it's also just, these people are special. These human beings are special. It's not because they're sick. It's not because they're kids. It's not because they're involved with Melodic. It's because they are who they are.
Yep.
Like, those kids that I've met are special, and their families also are special. They hold each other up, and I don't know what else you're supposed to do as a family if you don't do that.
Thank you all so much for joining us. If you or someone you know is battling illness and needs support, you are not alone. Sign up today at melodiccaring.org. And a huge thank you to all our first responders and healthcare providers working so hard during this COVID-19 crisis. We appreciate you. I'm Levi Ware. This is the Melodic Caring Project.